Shalom, family. So I wanted to touch on this story that broke, and normally I would have left it because they say they can't prove the truth of this and whether this is legit, the story, or whether it's a fake story that's been put out. But I wanted to show you something in this article that shows you they specifically don't coincidentally use numbers or dates or things or words just randomly. They all are put in there for a reason or a message. So the article said the US government's alleged 100-day Ukraine peace plan has been leaked. Now we know Trump is working on that. It's one of his big promises that he'd get that whole situation squared away immediately. The Gaza situation seems to be on track, but Ukraine still going strong. Now the next step of the plan, according to this document, would have the US president meet with Putin and Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss the possibility of a ceasefire. The leaked proposal claims that Ukrainian troops would at this point be withdrawn from Russia's Kursk region. The ceasefire, according to the Strana document, is aimed to take place on April the 20th, just in time for Easter Sunday, the important religious holiday for Orthodox Christianity. So they made sure it's specifically April 20. It shows you they pick the dates. If all the steps are followed, an international peace conference would take place with global superpowers mediating the agreement between Moscow and Kiev. Medusa writes, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan would be expected to play a role. Now, this for me lends credence to the fact that this document could be a legitimate document because we know that Erdogan is very interested in showing his ability to mediate in this whole Ukraine-Russian special operation. The leaked proposal sets May the 9th as the potential date to end the war. The choice, again, not random. It's one of the most important holidays in the former Soviet Union, the current day Russian Federation. It's known as Victory Day over Nazi Germany in World War II. And he's all along been saying the Nazis are in Ukraine and he's fighting the Nazis. And so May 9, Victory Day, it's all over. We've triumphed over the Nazis again. Newsweek writes, the scheme presented by Strana provides parameters for both sides of the conflict. Kiev would be requested to be barred from becoming part of NATO and declaring neutrality, which is what Putin's been pushing for all along. The Ukrainian government would also have to recognize Moscow's sovereignty over the territories occupied by Russian troops and relinquish any diplomatic or military to take possession of those areas. In exchange, Ukraine could become part of the European Union, the EU, by 2030. There's that date again, 2030, and will have EU aid in the country's post-war reconstruction. Russia, in the meantime, would have sanctions lifted with terms and time frame depending on Moscow's conditions and agreements to end the war. And then these sanctions on Russian gas and other energy sources would be lifted. However, special tariffs would be placed to fund Ukraine's reconstruction. So some of their fees would go towards the reconstruction of Ukraine. The Office of the President of Ukraine, however, dismissed the document released by Strana as fake, arguing that these are planted stories that only benefit Russia. Now, in their defense, in that statement is, if you look at the layout of this document from where I'm sitting, and I'm not part of this peace agreements planning or anything, it looks very much skewed to Russia's benefit versus Ukraine. Russia gets to keep the area she's taken. Russia gets the promise that Ukraine's not going to become part of NATO. Russia gets it on Victory Day. Russia gets sanctions lifted. Russia. Ukraine, you'll get a bit of money towards your rebuilding, and in 2030 you can join the EU, and in the meantime we'll give you some aid. There you go. So that does make me think there is a possibility. Either it's a working document that was leaked and it still needs further tweaking because there's no way that Volodymyr Zelensky is going to allow this through in its current form, or it's fake. But interesting for me, the way they pick those specific dates that mean specific things to people and large groups to make a point, even in something as simple as drawing up a ceasefire agreement between these two parties. They know full well what they're doing. The words we use here in the know is, it is the revelation of the method. The enemy and his forces must always tell you what they're doing and show you. They love using Hollywood for that, and they put it in your faces. It's your own fault if you don't see it and start recognizing it, but they have made it openly known. God bless. Keep looking up. The whole world's pushing for peace, but us, the believers, the redeemed of the Lord, we are looking for the Prince of Peace who's coming to fetch his bride. Shalom.